Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Today's video is going to be our weekly NASCAR review, and it's going to be kind of lengthy today because over the weekend they had two races from Pocono, one on a Saturday afternoon, one on a Sunday afternoon. The Saturday race was 130 laps, and the Sunday race was 140 laps. So the Saturday race was 325 miles, and the Sunday race was 350 miles. We'll quickly recap the top 10 in each race and give you the current point standings as we head toward the playoffs that'll be coming up right around the corner, and then I'll give you some news and notes going on right now in the NASCAR world. The Saturday race, it looked like Kyle Larson was going to win his fifth straight race and his fourth straight points paying race because, of course, a couple of weeks ago was the All-Star race, and that is not a points race. But on the last lap, in the final turn, he had a tire blowout, and Alex Bowman won the race. Kyle Busch was second. William Byron was third. Denny Hamlin fourth, and Ryan Blaney was fifth. And 6 through 10 was Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, and Brad Keselowski. And then the Sunday race, Kyle Busch won, followed by Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, and Darrell Wallace got his first top 10 of the season, first top 5 of the season for 23-11 racing as he finished in 5th. And 6 through 10 was Ryan Blaney. Alex Bowman, the Saturday winner, finished in 7th on Sunday, and then Ryan Preece came home 8th. Tyler Reddick 9th, and Joey Logano was 10th. Now, in the Sunday race, Kyle Busch, as I said, won, but he had the best car probably in both races on Saturday and Sunday. But on Saturday, in the post-race show, he said that their cars are built fast and they're built to get out front, but they have trouble passing people. So when he did not have the lead on Saturday, he could not pass anybody, but he had a great car. And on Sunday, I didn't think he was going to win because if you watched the race, he came on early in the race and told his crew chief that his transmission was stuck in 4th gear and they could not get it out, and he tried to get it out, and he just could not get it out. And you could tell because he came down pit road one time for a pit stop and almost came to a complete stop because he didn't want to speed on pit road, but he could not get it out of 4th gear, and he was almost at a dead stop by the time he finally got it out of 4th gear. And then when he made his pit stop and started back, he could not get going because he could not hit 1st gear, 2nd gear, or 3rd gear. And by the time he finally got going and got back on the track, he was, I believe, in 15th place. And he did get back up to 8th by the time stage 2 ended. And then he came down pit road, and they tried to put a crew member inside the car and use some kind of tool to get it out of 4th gear, and it did not work. So he was back in, I believe, 30th place, almost a lap down by the time they took the green flag for the 3rd and final stage, and he still got back up there and won the race. So that tells you how good his car was on Sunday. If they wouldn't have had the transmission trouble, he would have destroyed the field on Sunday. And if I was the rest of the field right now, I would get concerned because as we head toward the playoffs, it's obvious that Kyle Busch and B Shore are finally on the same page and finally getting it going. Now, of course, after last year, Joe Gibbs made the decision to switch up all the crew chiefs, which Joe Gibbs does every few years, but they say this time it was because Adam Stevens just no longer wanted to be with Kyle Busch because they had a bad year last year, no doubt about that. But Kyle Busch felt like Adam Stevens just quit on him, and I guess it is easy to feel that way when you have a crew chief and you win all those races and win 2 championships together, and then you have one bad season and he decides he just no longer wants to be a part of the team. And him and B Shore were brand new working together on the Cup side, and you could tell because the first 5 or 6 races they were bad. I believe it was around race 7 or 8 before Kyle Busch even had a top 10. And now here we are 19 races into the season. He's got 2 wins, and they're now 4th in the points. 7 more races before we start the chase. Kyle Larson, of course, right now is your current points leader. And Martin Truex Jr. has struggled mightily over the past month or so. But they're still in second place because of their 3 wins. Alex Bowman is 3rd. As I said, Kyle Busch is 4th. And William Byron is 5th. 6 through 10 right now in the points is Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, and Christopher Bell. There's also other NASCAR news going on right now. If you have not heard, this came down the pipeline Wednesday afternoon that Chip Ganassi has sold his entire NASCAR team to Trackhouse Racing, which is owned by Justin Marks. Now, Justin Marks drove part-time for Chip Ganassi from 2016 to 2018, but he has bought the entire Ganassi Racing team. Chip Ganassi said that Chip Ganassi Racing was not for sale. If it was for sale, he would have talked to other owners and seen what kind of money he might could get, but he said Justin Marks called him out of the blue and made him an offer that he could not refuse. But of course, if you follow NASCAR, you know if you are the majority owner of a race team, you can no longer race. So I'm guessing Justin Marks is giving up his duties to drive, at least on a full-time basis. But you're seeing more and more young owners now, because we know Brad Keselowski is going to Roush Fenway Racing next year, and he's going to have some kind of minority ownership, and it's going to become Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. And of course, we know now that Jeff Gordon has left Fox to pretty much be the second-hand man with the Rick Hendrick organization to take over for Hendrick in a few years when Rick decides to retire. And of course, this year, Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan have started a team called 2311 Racing with Darrell Wallace Jr. Denny Hamlin is still getting to race for Joe Gibbs because he is the minority owner and only owns like 25%, and Michael Jordan owns like 75%. But of course, we know that Trackhouse Racing right now has Daniel Suarez driving the 99 car, which I will say they've struggled so far this year, but they've had some pretty designs on their race cars. And they've said that Daniel Suarez will be back next year, and they will have a second car, but they have not said who it will be. But they've said that current Ganassi Racing drivers Kurt Busch and Ross Chastain are both under consideration. I hate this for Ross because I feel like he may be the odd man out, and I hate that because this is his first year in that 42 car, and he's had some pretty good runs and a couple of top 10s already this year. So this may be the final year we see the 1 car or the 42 car on the track. And even if it's not, we know it's the final year that we'll see the 1 car and the 42 car for Chip Ganassi on the track. Ganassi is not leaving racing. He still has Indy cars and he still has ISMA cars. He's just leaving NASCAR as he sold the team to Justin Marks and Trackhouse Racing. And again, Chip Ganassi said that Ganassi Racing was not for sale, but he could not turn down the offer that Justin Marks gave him. But they have not yet said exactly how much money they are getting from Trackhouse Racing, but it has to be a pretty good amount if that story is true that Justin Marks just called him out of the blue and offered to buy the race team, and Ganassi said he could not turn it down. But of course, NASCAR is back on the track this Sunday afternoon, and we'll have another NASCAR review coming up next week. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit more about the NBA playoffs. Of course, the Phoenix Suns are already in the NBA Finals, awaiting the winner of the Bucks and Hawks series. We'll talk more about that coming up tomorrow, but for now, let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day. Of all the inventions of the last 100 years, the dry erase board is probably the most remarkable. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.